All is one reflections. I am Priestess Ipapumile Omowari Obonyomi, and I am a goddaughter of Reverend Priestess Oshun Funke Iyanifa. And I am staff at the Orisha Hoodoo Institute, staff at Black Spectrum Network, staff at the Voodoo Institute. I am the owner of Enchanted Vibes, the co-owner of Vibe and High, and overall Bad Mama Champ. So, ooh, that cracked my neck, y'all. I need to stop playing. All right. So today's class is called A Bridge, a Moat, and a Dragon. And this is a class about protection of your fortress. So first I'm going to talk about different types of herbs, crystals, all the things that correspond to protection, okay? If you don't have this book, the complete book of correspondences, please have something to write with. And then I'm going to go over ways that you can use them to create different things to use for protection. So if you have a question at any point, just raise your hand and I will, because I don't want you to forget your question. So not a problem. Raise your hand. I can address it right then and then we can go forward. I love questions. Please ask them. Before we get into all that, and while some people grab something to write with, I will talk about the importance of protection work. So Omo Jole and I did a live like 18 months ago called The Importance of Protection Work. It's on both our YouTube channels. We talked about why you need to do protection work on yourself. It was a great time. It was a great live. It was long. There were some good points in there. You should go watch it. Um, a lot of the same principles apply to protection of your home. Remember that you must ask for protection and make sure you are writing protection prayers as well. Include protection as part of your prayers. We always talk about how important prayers are. They are. So make sure that your prayers include protection as well. Um, Today is the first. So if you're blowing cinnamon, this is also a good time to say a prayer for protection. And you can consider this like a monthly warding ritual for your house. So like this is, before we even get to that part, that's a protection spell right there. And cinnamon is also a protection herb. And so you're using it for its dual purpose. It's also used for quickening. So you can bring quick protection and abundance to your home by using cinnamon if you enchant it away. Also, you can add sea salt. Natural sea salt, not the kind, not table salt. And also sea salt doesn't include iodine in it. And so, which is good for that purpose. Sea salt, if you're eating it, doesn't have iodine, which you need iodine in your body. But when you're doing protection work, you don't need that. So, sea salt. Use regular salt in a pinch. Ha! That's funny. I didn't mean to make that joke, but that was funny. But sea salt's better. So, there's that. But like I was saying, when doing protection work, also include other intentions like prosperity, peace, healing, and wisdom to your work as well. You want to call in blessings while keeping negativity out. So you want to bless and protect. These two go hand in hand. Many of the things that I list are also good for both intentions. The devil is in the details, so layering your work will make it stronger, but simplicity is also important. 6 easy things are likely stronger than one long ass 6-hour ritual. Okay. So little things matter, especially in the protection of your home, because it needs to be more constant. So if every week you have a cleaning ritual, and you include protection in that, that's going to be better than just one ritual that you do once a month that takes 6 hours. Little things. It builds up. You want to build the ashe of your home just like you build your own ashe. So for this first part, I'm just going to go straight to the book. Again, if you have this book, you do not have to write this part down because it is all in there. But for those who don't have the book or don't have the book yet, this is going to have some ideas of the types of things you can use. And I'm also going to include some other stuff in here too. So Um, all of the elements can be used for protection. So air, earth, fire, water, all of them. That part doesn't have to be very specific. So fire for the candles, water if you're making floor washes or potpourris or anything like that. Air, like the blowing of the cinnamon, and you blow that. Earth, you can actually use, which is not in here, so I'm gonna say that now. Graveyard dirt from specifically from somewhere where you have an ancestor. If you can get it from their specific gravesite, that's great. There are ways to go in and out of a graveyard, so make sure I'll briefly explain that. Cover your head. Take 9 pennies and some gin. Leave 9 pennies at the gate before you go in. Pour gin. Say a prayer of thanks. Go to your ancestor, whoever is dearly departed. Again, someone of your bloodline. Doesn't really necessarily matter who, but if it's an elder, someone like a I have a great grandparent I go to. That's where I got my graveyard dirt from, and it was a woman. Again, devil in details. Because my maternal line has a lot of healing to do, and so I grabbed graveyard dirt from my maternal line. So it's literally my mother's mother's mother. So, you know, be intentional. Once you get there, talk to them like you normally would. If you have a jar, make sure that's purified with Florida water. Always have Florida water. Always use Florida water. Mine is actually in a jar. It's in a mason jar, and it's actually on my altar when I'm not using it, just charging. But grab the dirt that you need. You can grab a little bit, you can grab a lot. It's up to you, especially if you plan on using it for other things. But you don't want to have to keep going back because you make yourself susceptible to other things every time you go in there, especially if you're taking something or if you are burying something. Yes, do it if you're supposed to, but you have to protect yourself every time. So you get your dirt, you say your prayers. I would pour some more gin in the hole that you took from, and then cover it back up with the patch of grass that was there because you don't need the grass. And then when you leave, do not go back out the same way you can if you can help it. So like, don't drive backwards. Pull forward and go like if there's a loop or something like that, you can go around the loop. That's totally fine. Dust your shoes off before you get in your car, like the bottom of your shoes. If you can sit in your car and take them off and clap them together outside of your car, great. If you have a rag that you have put Florida water on, you can literally wipe the bottom of your shoes off, particularly if your shoes got dirty going in. So if there was a lot, if you have to walk through a lot of gravel, or if there's like recently departed people around where they don't really have grass right there, it's a bunch of like the hay and stuff, then you definitely want to make sure that you get as much of that off your shoes as possible. Bare minimum, take your shoes all the way off before you walk in your house until you can like wipe them off. You don't want to walk that graveyard energy into your house. Um, like I said, don't go out the same way. If you have to walk through the gate, like I prefer to park across the way so that I have to actually cross the street. I I definitely do this if I'm burying something. If I'm like disposing of work in the cemetery, I will park to where I have to walk physically in and out so that I and I'll just walk in one way and then walk out the other way because my grandmother's right in the front. So it's not like I have to go all the way back or anything like that. So I walk in the entrance and then I make sure I go out the exit on the opposite side, even if it's the same path, use the opposite side of the path if you can. If there's only like one exit and one entrance. When you go past the gate again, say another prayer, pour some more gin, dust your shoes off, get in your car, go home, and take a shower. If you have a black soap that you made for protection, if you have the black soap that we made in Priestess Almost Shoelace class, wash off with that. Um, Make sure you get the back of your neck, the back of your ears, and your crown. I'm not saying you have to douse your whole head, but definitely like get your crown and make sure that's clean. Um, so that way you get anything off of you that could have been there. Um, just going to the cemetery to visit, you don't have to do all that. But if you are taking something or leaving something, you have to take extra precautions. I also talk to all the spirits. I say, hey, how y'all doing? I hope people visiting you. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're getting the things that you need over there. I hope you're getting some reverence from your people. And when I leave, I say, I'll see y'all next time. Y'all stay on here and do not come with me. Um, Again, just like how you have to ask for protections, you got to tell spirits, no, no. You tell them no, it's more likely that they are not going to hop on you. They're like, oh shit, she's talking to me. Let me calm down. And depending upon your power level, they will actually have to listen to you because you can command spirits, particularly if Oya is in your court. You can, they'll listen to you a little bit better than what they may listen to a normal person. So just a little tidbit. Has nothing to do with home protection, but there you go. You learned something today. So back to things that correspond with protection. The moon phases that correspond with protection are the full moon, the waning moon, and the waxing moon. So you wouldn't want to do any protection work. You can, but it's not it's not best to do it during a new moon. Um, you still can, but it's not the best time. The full moon in January is one of the best times to do protection work, particularly if that is on a Monday, a Saturday, or a Sunday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, any of those. Monday is Moon's Day as well, anyway, as some of us know in the coven, and so that would be a good time. The direction of south. So what you can do in order to incorporate south is be facing south when you are doing your work, if you can. If you can somehow face south, or make sure you acknowledge um, south in a way that is different from normal while doing protection work, you can do that. The numbers 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9. Um, those all make a lot of sense if you know numerology. If you don't know numerology, you go to my YouTube channel and watch those classes. Also, based on the Orisha too, you can make sense of that. So if you have an Orisha whose number is 3, 4, 5, 8, or 9, so Eshu, Ogun, Oshun, Obatala, Oya, Olokun, um, you can definitely, if you can, incorporate that Orisha if you know how to. So, as far as herbs and trees and plants and things, so we have laurel, which is bay leaves. Bay leaves are like literally everywhere. Magnolia trees, cypress trees, slippery elm trees, cedar. Cedar we use a lot in prosperity work as well. So that has to do one same thing with laurel. Um, Mimosa, that's not the kind you drink. It's the tree. For divine protection, you can use oak trees, like the bark. The bark of trees is amazing. It's good for great things. So spruce trees, sycamore trees, um, walnut trees, willow trees, witch hazel, pomegranate, palm trees, olive trees. Uh, you have a fir tree, birch trees, alder trees, a lot of them. for herbs and stuff. So I'm only going to say the ones that we use or that are, kind of common. So agrimony, it's one we all love. Angelica helps with divine protection. Basil, blackberry and bramble, carnations, chrysanthemum. I learned how to say that word, guys. Chrysanthemum, clovers, uh, daisies, dandelions, dill, feverfew, red geraniums specifically, honeysuckle, ivy, like the ivy that grows on like the side of your house. Um, jasmine, lavender, lilac, lily, including lily of the valley. Marjoram, which is Marjoram. Marjoram is also in Italian seasoning. If you ever get the little thing of Italian seasoning, almost everything in Italian seasoning is a protection herb, and marjoram is usually in there, in case you didn't know. Raspberry, Solomon seal, any type of mint. It could be spearmint, it could be regular mint, period. Thyme, valerian, vervain, violet, and yarrow. To protect from evil influences, you can use aloe. High John root, obviously. Whorehound, which Priestess Almost Shule talks about a lot. We just had a class. I cannot even remember whose class that was. Was it Almost Jole's last class that we had, I think, where we were talking about whorehound? It was one of the things. Mandrake, cloves, cinnamon, mustard, wormwood, sandalwood, and pepper. Oh, and wormwood is to protect from enchantment. So, if you want to keep yourself from being able to be worked on in negative ways, you can definitely use wormwood. It's also something that you can easily grow too, like that. I have wormwood seeds over there. As far as gems and minerals, we have either black, red, or banded agate. And agate is, it looks like agate, Agate. I learned how to say that from Priestess Anansi because I was saying agate. And then one of her classes, she said agate. And I said, oh. Amber, amethyst, angelite, obviously, right? Aquamarine. Priestess Anansi is laughing at me. Calcite, orange calcite specifically. Carnelian. Carnelian is Carnelian. Cat's eye, chrysoprase, which is Chrysophrase. Diamonds, emeralds, garnets, hematite. Hematite is Hematite. Jade, red jasper. If you want protection for finances, you can use jet, which is very specific. Like you have to look for that. Sometimes places have it and sometimes they don't. Peridot, which is my birthstone. Petrified wood, pyrite, and pyrite is Pyrite, for those that don't know. Either yellow or clear quartz, rose quartz, rubies, sunstone. And it's not on here, but you can. And also it's good for moon magic too, is selenite. And a trick with this, you can just use selenite over your door. I have a bunch of these wands. We needed them for something else, and I have a bunch of extra. And so you can put this over your door, and also you could put some salt. So if you have a door, you can't really see it, but if your door frame has, about an inch or so, you can pour salt and put a selenite wand above it, and that will help protect as well. Brass, copper, gold, iron. You don't want to use lead because that's dangerous, but it is on here. Silver and steel. So pretty much any type of jewelry, as long as it's real, you can actually enchant your jewelry. And since we're talking about, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You can enchant pretty much anything for protection. So if you need to make yourself a talisman, you can, particularly using jewelry, and rings and things like that. You hear, if you ever watch Vampire Diaries, how they had that ring that they could wear and it was allowed them to walk in the sun. That was their protection ring. And in some cases, the rings had other purposes too. So you're basically taking that same concept, especially if it's a ring or any type of embellishment like a necklace and it's a charm that has any of those things in it, that's double the protection because now you're enchanting both the gem itself and the metal for protection. So do that more often. Again, it's got to be real silver or real gold. I don't know about wearing brass or how that would work, or copper. Although you can wrap things like if you have the gold or you have that copper jewelry wire, that works just fine. Um, so yeah, enchant your items. I have something that I wear almost every day that cannot be seen. And it's actually, it's not a piece of jewelry though, but it's something that was enchanted for me and prayed over for a number of days. It comes from somewhere very specific that is not on this continent. And it was given to me. And so I wear it, I touch it in some form or fashion virtually every day. But it is physically on me right now. And if you've seen me in ceremony, um, if you were there with me the day I got it, you know what it is. But it's one of my favorite things. I have it with me all the time. I sleep with it, especially when I'm not, when I'm emotionally disturbed. I literally sleep and pray with that particular thing. Um, because it is a form of protection. It's literally a talisman. So you can make anything a talisman for your protection. We're not there yet, but I just threw that in there. Coral, pearls, and sand dollars. Sand dollars are good for financial protection as well. I'm not going to go over goddesses, but animals. So this includes an effigy, basically. So elephants, which go along with the number 8. And if you know, you know. Hippopotamus, horses, specifically for horses, they protect against abuse of power. Porcupines help protect your inner child. Lions, obviously. Something that people mostly don't think about, jackals. Monkeys, tigers. If you need protection of your family, wolves. So a lot of Native Americans, like, wolves is a big thing. It's because it's a form of protection, in case you ever wonder why. Um, there's your answer. Same thing with elephants. In certain cultures, you'll see a bunch of elephants. It's a form of protection. There's a lot of birds. So crows are actually a form of protection. Ducks, owls, peacocks, quails, ravens, swallows, and woodpeckers. If you know, you know. Eels are a symbol of protection. Seals are a symbol of protection when you're going through transitions in life. So if Oya came over and knocked all your shit over, um, you know, even putting in a picture of an eel in something that you're making, like a sigil or not a sigil, but like a sachet or something like that. That'll help. Sharks and protection to home, specifically crabs. So all those like seafaring type of decorations that have crabs, form of protection. Obviously dragons, which is part of the reason for this class. Omojolo gave me the name of this class, and dragons are actually a form of protection. So having dragons around your home is not a bad thing. My bones are in a box that has a dragon's eye. Um, and I'm actually going to give you guys a spell that involves a dragon figurine or a picture. So I'm actually going to give you a spell for that later. Uh, so that's it for that. That's it from this book, at least way specifically. Does anybody have any questions about anything I said from here specifically before I move on? Okay. So, um, so those are just things that have the intention of protection. They also have other intentions too. Purification is another intention that can go hand in hand with protection. Lemon, for example, is a great purification element, particularly for like floor washes and anything that you're going to clean with, or even anything that you're going to ingest. It's still good for that. Anything that can be used to remove hexes and curses will work. So like star anise, that is another good one that you can use for protection. The same thing applies to the colors. And I can't believe I didn't say um, the colors. That's absolutely crazy of me that I didn't say colors. Colors are black, blue, brown, gold, green, purple, red, silver, violet, white, yellow. So all the colors. You can literally use every color on here. And they don't have orange on here, but there's a spell I'm going to give you later that has an orange candle, I believe. So really you can use pretty much any color candle. Black is definitely good for lifting hexes and curses. So if you feel like you have, and removing negative energy. So if you feel like a lot of heavy negative energy, you can use a black candle. Um, but white obviously is always a good idea. I also have a class on color intentions and candles on YouTube, so you can go watch that. But there you go. Those are the colors. Sorry, I forgot that part. But usually people use white, and that's totally fine. But you can use pretty much any color if you had to. Just make sure that you enchant it. So where was I? Okay, so what do you do with all that stuff, right? So keep in mind that I didn't go over everything, just the things that people kind of like will recognize by name or that would be easier to find. Knowing what to use is half the battle. Knowing what to do with it is a whole another situation. So I'm going to give a few ideas. And again, if you have questions, please raise your hand so I can get you taken care of. Everything I'm going to say is pretty much easy and practical. If you've been in the other classes, some of this will be familiar, especially if you were in the What About the Children class or the Kingmakers class. There are a couple of new things though, so I'm gonna go over that. I already mentioned the selenite and the salt over your door. Cinnamon brooms over doors is also another way to use protection. I have it over my front door and my bedroom door because usually that's where I am. Um, my daughter pretty much sleeps wherever she falls asleep. And my son's room, he's in the basement. So actually, which is the door behind me. That's the basement. So really I should put a cinnamon broom above his door too. Nobody really comes in the back door but my boyfriend. Maybe I should still put a cinnamon broom up there. Anyway, because it's a big patio door, I can't put anything else on top of it. So I really should put a cinnamon broom up there. So anyway, um, another thing you do. So I keep Jen on my altar at all times, because that's what is determined by my ancestral life path reading. They want Jen and they don't really care for anything else. Not my African ancestors anyway. So when every few days when I go to replace it, whatever's left, I just pour it outside my door and say a prayer of protection for my home and the people that live in it. It's a very quick prayer. It takes me literally 2 seconds. I say it as I pour, I shut my door, I go rinse out the cup, put some more in it, and mind my business somewhere. The water that sits on my altar, when I go change that every few days, I pour that into one of my money trees. I have two. So if you don't have a money tree, but you have plants, pour it into your plants. They will freaking love it. Freaking love it. I started pouring water on my money trees and they literally went crazy. I had to separate them and they're getting huge. And I love that for me. Um, I often tell people to clean their house, like all the time. A floor wash is a good way to clean and protect. So you can enchant whatever ingredients you need, whatever you determine. And again, make sure you layer your intentions. So add prosperity, add abundance, add peace, add healing, those type of intentions. Add all those types of intentions to your work when you're just doing protection work for your home because you want to fill your home with good things. And so protection is one of the many things you want to fill your home with, right? So do that. Also, if you use a blue candles are good for peace and protection of the home specifically. So there's that. But for a floor wash, so this floor washes, potpourri, and general cleaning solution, actually, this kind of like is a one-stop shop. You can do all of this in the same, with the same ingredients, with the same pot. You just need a significant amount of water in order to do it. So once you enchant your ingredients, you're going to add spring water. You want to add regular tap water, if you don't have to. Add spring water. And you don't want it to boil, but you want it to at least get warm. You want to be able to smell the ingredients after a little while. And I would say you want it to probably be warm for at least an hour. So go clean something else. Sweep, do your dishes, start laundry, or not, because you can actually put this in with your laundry as well. There's more protection, FYI. But like I said, this doubles as a potpourri. You don't want it to boil, but you want it to be warm again. And you don't want it to take all day to get warm. You want it to be warm for a while so that it draws out the good things that you need it to, so it's like actually in the water, like a marinade, if you will. Um, Once you have that done and you're ready to actually use it, you want to strain it. You don't want any of like the little bits, especially if you use herbs. If you use like dry herbs and they're small, you don't want to get any of that like on your walls or in your laundry or on your floor. So make sure that you strain it if you use like tiny things. If you used like the whole thing of rosemary and you didn't like pull it apart and you just set the whole thing of rosemary and used a whole thing of cinnamon and you just, sliced lemon and star anise. Yes, I just gave you a whole spell. Star anise, lemon, cinnamon, rosemary. There you go. Get the get the live versions of them, the living version still, of your at least your lemon and your rosemary, because those won't be dried out yet. And it will, that's a great for protection and prosperity. It's a great floor wash. I actually posted that recipe in the group somewhere, both groups. So again, strain it if absolutely necessary. Pour a little bit in your mop water, use it as a floor wash. You can use that to dilute bleach and literally clean whatever you want. Your counters, your refrigerator, your walls, toilets, your bathroom counters. I wouldn't use it to clean your mirrors. Because I don't know that it would necessarily be streak free. Sorry, my Facebook Messenger is blowing up my computer. Um, But yeah, you can use that for pretty much anything else that you can use water for. So I wouldn't use it on wood. So maybe not your entertainment center and like a bookshelf, depending upon what it's made out of. But you can use it on your altar as well. If you have an altar like mine, it's like big. And so I have like sides and all types of things. So you can use it to clean your altar as well, especially if you don't have any Florida water or if you ran out and your Florida water is simmering, so to speak. I always have Florida water, but yeah, you can use it in lieu of Florida water when necessary. Pretty much anything. It's not wood. I would use that. When you're sweeping, there's a proper way to sweep. Front to back and back to front. It just depends on what your intentions are. So how we say you would stir counterclockwise to reverse or to remove, or you would stir clockwise to bring in. Same thing with your house. If you want to bring in things, you would sweep from front to back. If you want to remove something, you sweep from back to front. But don't box yourself in either way. So you would just start at the back of the room, whichever way that is, or the back of your house, or the front of your house. So, but you want to sweep towards your door. Don't sweep yourself into a corner. And sweep towards you instead of away from you. It's a whole thing. And they all have different meanings as to why you do it. But and don't sweep at night if you can help it. Like if you drop something, you gotta sweep it up fine. But like don't go sweeping your entire house at night. The logic behind that is that our ancestors didn't have electricity. And so they weren't sweeping anything at night. They weren't doing housework really at night. They may have still been cooking, depending upon, daylight savings and all that stuff. But like real housework, they weren't like setting, that's not time to clean your whole house. Like you clean up your mess, but not like your whole house. So be aware of that. And I will say stop sleeping on sachets, or actually do sleep on a sachet. Make a sachet for to go underneath every mattress, every sleeping place in your house. If you share a bed with someone, make two. Put one on your side, put one on their side. Put it underneath the couch cushions in your couch, under the mats, under rugs. You can use crystals, you can use sigils, whatever. Sigils, place sigils wherever you can. I mentioned earlier in the What About the Children class about like etching symbols in their furniture. So like inside their drawers, on their bed, like in their headboard, um, on their door, putting them under like underneath wallpaper and paint. Do that. If you don't live in an apartment, do that. Um, if you can place it behind a picture, like tape it to the back of a picture and then hang a picture up. That's another way to ward your house against all the things. And it can be a sigil that you made for protection, or it can just be one that is known for protection. A lot of the seals of Solomon are good for certain things, so you can use one of the seals of Solomon. I think it's Anna Rivera has that book of seals. Uh, some of you who are in the outreach program, you have that book of sigils and seals. Use it. It is important. Um, but you can especially use these by doors so that people have to step on them or through them in order to come in your house. So, like I said, underneath the mat, that welcome mat that sits outside your door or the one that sits inside your door. Um, and again, also, with hanging stuff over your door as well, even if they have weird intentions, either, and I've seen this happen before. I'm not going to say how I know it, but somebody I know was still living with a parent and they put salt above their door and their parent could not come in the room for weeks. Weeks. Could not come in the room. Every time they went to go talk to them, they would stop at the door and they wouldn't walk through the door. Um, so it works. Or it takes their attention. So they have to, even if they had ill intentions, once they come in, they kind of like that. So they can't accomplish whatever thing they were trying to accomplish. Same things works with sigils in your house, particularly if you sit one under sitting places where company sits. So like I have cushions on my kitchen table I could essentially put something underneath those cushions, or you can draw a sigil on the bottom of your chairs if you have like that piece of like wood thing. Let me show you. I'll show you what mine looks like. So like if you have a bottom like this that's hard, you can draw something in there. You can tape it in there. Whatever you got to do. You can make a sachet and tape it to the bottom of the chairs. All types of things that you can do. So that even when people go to sit at your table because they're visiting, they all that weird shit kind of like gets knocked down or doesn't get accomplished. Same thing with your couch. Put them underneath your couch so they have to sit literally on a protection sit. And if all of a sudden they leave suddenly, like they don't stay nearly as long as you intended them to stay, and they gotta go, that means they probably be on some bullshit. So FYI and by the way. Um, I said cloves earlier, right? If you take a red onion and put 16 cloves in it and put it in the four corners of your home. So it doesn't, if you have multi-level, it doesn't have to all be on the same level. But north, south, east, and west, that type of thing. The four corners, however they face in your home, and put it somewhere unseen where it's not going to be bothered. Sometimes the top of a closet is the best place, or the bottom of the closet, depending upon how your closet is or what you have in your closet. Um, Behind the refrigerator, behind the washer and dryer, places like that where it's not really going to be seen. Behind your altar, depending upon where your altar is, if it's in the corner of your house. Behind your bed, if your bed is in the corner of the house, a piece of furniture or something like that, whatever. And you want to put it in I have mine in a clear bowl. Put it in a clear bowl. That way it's not physically sitting on the ground because it may change the color of your carpet, or like stain your floor, which you don't want. So put it in a glass bowl. It will last like a long time. You won't smell it or anything like that. However, just check on them periodically and replace it as necessary. So like my dryer thing, the little vent thing came out, and so all that heat was built up over there, and so I had to replace mine. And so when you replace it, divine about it first. Divine about it. And if they allow it, bury it in the corresponding corner near in your home. So like if it was in the southwest corner in your house, bury it in the southwest corner outside your house. So that it continues its protection. It's just that you had to replace it. But again, like I said, divine about it, just to make sure. You can also smudge. So again, with smudging, as we always say, don't use sage. But if you have to use sage, if you absolutely have to use sage, please, oh please, on my knees, make sure that you use something else to put the energy back. So it can be incense, it can be any number of things, but you want to make sure that you put the good energy back because sage acts as it gets rid of all energy, negative and positive. And so you have to put the energy back because otherwise it creates a vacuum. And as we know, nature abhors a vacuum, and you will cause so much chaos and destruction in your life um, by simply using sage and nothing else. So someone asked in the chat the magical properties of dragon's blood. So I couldn't find it in the big book. I found it in the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs quickly. I found it quickly in here. It's love, protection, exorcism, and potency. It is a resin from a palm tree. And so it can be burned it can be burned to entice lovers to return. This is usually done by women and seated near an open window looking outside at night. You can place it under your pillow or mattress to cure impotency. The dried resin is a powerful protectant when carried, sprinkled around the house, or smoldered as incense. It can also drive evil and negativity away when burned. A pinch of dragon's blood added to other incense increases their potency and power. To quiet a noisy house, powder some dragon's blood, mix it with sugar and salt, and place it in a bottle. Cover this tightly and secure it somewhere in your house where it won't be found. You'll have peace and quiet. Um, I have dragon's blood, so if you can't find any by the time you come to Eleke or Ela, if I have any left, I will bring whatever I have left come that time because we have a big vendor event this weekend. I'm trying to sell out. You hear me? Sell out. Um, so yes, dragon's blood is amazing. And regarding like the crushing and sprinkling, you can do that with salt. You can do that with dragon's blood. You can do it with any mixture of things, really. And again, like I said, I didn't mention everything for protection, so you do a little bit of research. If you have the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, that's a good resource. And again, complete book of correspondences is another. Does anybody have any questions about the couple things I just said? Let me double check this chat, make sure I didn't miss anything because my Monopoly Go chat is going on. Kodon added me to a Monopoly Go chat, and so um, it was just going off because we had a bunch of events start today. Ignore it. Ignore me. Ignore my little Monopoly Go. My daughter's texting me now. They are like really concerned because I haven't come to get them yet. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mhm. Alicia, what's your question? You said 6 or 7. What are we talking about? I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, for the cloves, it's 16. Sorry. 16 cloves in the what the hell did I just say? Onion, red onion. Red onion, 16 cloves. Also, you can make a witch's ball. So they have, especially this time of year, you can get those empty ornaments where you can put your own things in them. Um, get, you can get some of those. So if you have pets, if you have like cats and dogs who get into everything, oh yeah, pet too. You can make a witch's ball in lieu of that, and you can still put the cloves in there and other protection herbs and things like that, and then still put that in the four corners of your house. It's less likely that your animal is going to get that open or eat it. So if you have animals, use like I literally just saw some today at Walmart. They even have them at Dollar Tree. It's like a pack of three. Oh no, no, no. It was single ones at Dollar Tree, I think, for $1, $1.25. And then Walmart had a pack of them. So get those. Yes. Um, and you can also, if you do Christmas, if you do a tree, that's your business, you can make a protection ornament um that way as well and just hang it at like the back of your tree where no one is gonna say it. Yule logs are actually protection. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. That whole Yuletide thing or whatever, that's actually protection of your home. Like and even Christmas trees themselves. Um, it's actually a protection spell. Just throwing that out there in case you didn't know. So anyway, let's get to some actual spells. Actual spells. So, this one is for returning malice to the sender. So all you really need, um, you may not need anything, but have some incense on deck. If you have an incense that is for protection, or if you have an incense that was, like I said, like sandalwood, sandalwood's a good one. And you can correspond that to the number 9. If you know, you know. Um, but anyway, sandalwood's a good one to have. Any of the other herbs that I mentioned before, any of the other, if you have a dragon's blood incense, great. Um, but anywho, have it on deck in case you need it. And I'll explain why here in a second. So if you have received like a threat, like a direct threat, or like had a confrontation with somebody, you can actually come home and do a protection spell of your house. So you want to start near your front door and you want to do all the doors and windows in your house. And you go into every room and you place your palm in the center of the window. I would personally say be intentional about which hand you use and why you're using that hand. This is a return to sender, and so I say use your left hand. Um, but that's up to you. Use the left hand, place it on the window, and make sure your fingers are apart. So it kind of looks like this. Looks like a little hand turkey. Looks like that. And you're going to say, this hand returns what is sent with ill intent. This hand returns to you the pain. Send it not ever again. Make it rhyme. It's really again, but you can say again and make it rhyme. Okay. Um, if it's like exceptionally bad, you can continue by saying, receive back your own that you may feel the pain and send never again. Okay. If at some point you feel anxious or like you're immediately under threat, that's when you will take the incense, make sure it's lit, and trace your hand with the smoke so that you make an imprint of the smoke with your hands. Make sure you do this on every window, every door that goes outside. So you don't have to do it on bedroom doors, but all the windows and every door that goes outside, especially if you have like a patio or balcony or whatever. Make sure you do that as well and repeat the full chant for each one. And I'll say it again. This hand returns what is sent with ill intent. This hand returns to you the pain. Send it not ever again. Receive back your own that you may feel the pain and send never again. I'm Celtic, so I know that it's supposed to rhyme. Just in case you didn't know, make it rhyme. It makes it so much easier. Um, and you can do that immediately. You don't have to wait for a certain like good time to do that one. Um, oh, by the way, this book, for those of you who weren't in that class, this is the 1001 Spells book. And this was written by Cassandra Easton. I'm sorry, Eason. Eason. And it's Cassandra with two S's and one of everything else. 1001 spells. Um, there is some Celtic magic in here. So, like, there's a Celtic circling ritual to drive away jealousy or ill intentions against your home and family. That's literally what it says. So, you can take pictures of any family member or like the whole family that you're concerned with, and you want to get 9 white flowers in a circle around the photos. Lilies are very effective for this spell if you can get lilies. You want an empty flower vase also in the center of the table or the room. Table or room, just depends on the kind of space you need. You want to do this on a Sunday morning. And you want to be able to walk around it, however you need to do that. So if it's on the floor, if it's better on the floor so that you can walk around it, that's fine. But you want to be able to walk around it. And you want to say, circle this home, mother, father, keep harm without, keep peace within. Circle this home, father, mother, keep all safe by day and night, and bless them with the morning light. Um, if you, so the Archangel Michael, for those of you who care, is associated with protection. And so you can literally ask the Archangel Michael for protection in this case, particularly with this spell. With each circle, you're going to take a flower so that by the ninth circle and chant, you are holding all 9 flowers. You're going to place the flowers one by one in the vase, saying for each one, blessings and protection on all. And then you'll leave the flowers next to the picture until the flowers fade. So it's essentially like a little mini family altar. So you don't want to leave it in the middle of the floor. You'll want to put it somewhere. So if you can do it on the table and walk around your table so that you can leave it on the table, great. If not, depending upon how your house is set up, you can still pick it up, put it somewhere else. Easy spell. Easy, easy. Particularly if you have Celtic ancestors. So pretty much anything in Europe, Ireland, all that is considered Celtic. It was Celtic before Christianity, I should say. Um, there are spells in here about keeping out ghosts and paranormal and like paranormal harm and stuff like that. So those are also good. Um, yeah, there's a lot of ones about ghosts and poltergeists in here. Um, there was one in particular that I really wanted to read. Okay, so this is a garlic protection ritual to guard your home from family, friends you do not trust, and from con men. So you'll need a green candle, a string of garlic bulbs, and a dish of salt. Again, that's a green candle, a string of garlic bulbs, and a dish of salt. And you will do this on a Tuesday morning in your kitchen. Make sure that you energetically clean the dish before you put the salt in it and clean your candle. You're going to light the candle and set the string of garlic around it in a circle. And you are going to say, so shall this garlic reveal those who mean not well. Garlic repel all ill intent, however sent. Again, so shall this garlic reveal those who mean not well. Garlic repel all intent, however sent. And then you're going to sprinkle a pinch of salt in the flame, and then you're going to say, so shall this light reveal those who mean not well. Light repel all ill intent, however sent. You're going to touch each garlic bulb in turn, moving counterclockwise, and sprinkle salt in it. I'm sorry, salt on it. Saying for each, so you're going to enchant each bulb of garlic. So shall salt and garlic reveal those who mean not well. Garlic repel all ill intent, however sent. You will blow out the candle. Yes, this time you are blowing out the candle. And you're going to say, I call on this garlic. I call on this light. Protect me from thief and trickster by day and by night. I'll say that part again. I call on this garlic. I call on this light. Protect me from thief and trickster by day and by night. You're going to shake off any excess salt from the garlic, and you're going to hang the garlic string in your kitchen where air can circulate around it until it shrivels. Once it shrivels up, you can bury it and replace it, doing the whole thing all over again. So, does anybody have any questions? You can talk now. Nobody has anything. I know a couple people came in late, so you guys will have to watch the recording here in a little while. Once it's ready, I'll post it back in the document. That last part, there was a lot of enchanting, so if you need to rewrite it, it will be in the recording. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, additions? Is there something that you do that I didn't mention that you think is worth adding? Because I know some of you do quite a bit of protection work. Priestess Oya Petu, do you do anything outside of what I mentioned?
No, I feel like there's a lot of similarities, but what I'm
Mhm.
intrigued by, especially with Oya being, you know, part of my world, I have yet to really do visits to the cemetery, so I'm like interested in like what you like everything you're saying about like the pennies and the gin. Like I'm like when I do have my first go around, I'm gonna do that. So I'm
Okay.
excited to try
Yeah,
that.
definitely, definitely. Especially if Oya is in your court, you definitely wanna you need some graveyard dirt for sure. Pretty sure. Um, I like doubling the floor wash for my car too. Yes. Uh-huh. You can wipe down the inside of your car. It's not home protection, but it's still protection. And 4 is a protection number. 4 is Ogun, and cars are Ogun. And so Ogunye to that. Make sure you use lots of green herbs. Depending upon what book you have, it might have herbs that go with Ogun. And then correspond those to either protection or some other thing that we talked about that makes sense, like purification, anti-curses, whatever. Um, let's see, who else is in here that has been in here for a long time? Priestess Anansi. Is there anything that you do specifically other than all your crystal work that you do? Because I know you make crystal grids and all types of other stuff. Y'all can make crystal grids too. And if you don't know how to make crystal grids, Priestess Anansi got a class on that. But Priestess Anansi, is there anything that you do that I didn't mention that you think is worthwhile?
You did mention everything. I was going to mention the crystal grids, but you just mentioned that. So, also, I do actually also the arrangement of things in your house. I'll be finishing my series on feng shui, but that also garners a little bit of protection and and because the flow of energy through your house, as far as getting rid of negative stuff when you're cleansing it and purifying it, the way you have your house arranged plays a big part in that.
Forgot about that. So thank you for mentioning that. Look into feng shui when Priestess Anansi's classes are. I know you have one class that's already done, but look into Priestess Anansi's classes, and you can use Baba Google if you need to, because feng shui is a pretty popular thing. It's not uniquely Orisha related, so you can definitely find a lot of information on feng shui. Um, Priestess Anansi will just add a little pizzazz to it because she has pizzazz and everything, little flavor.
Oh, I
Um,
did want to say one more thing that
mhm.
my Arabian mentioned Reiki too. Also, I almost forgot about that. You
Mhm.
mentioned sigils and those types of things. Priestess Oya Petu and I are giving a class on Reiki later on where we'll teach you symbols that you can place in and around your house that will also help. And the activating of waste portals is what I call them, where when you're sweeping from front to back, You're not only sweeping up particle and energy, but you're sweeping that you're sweeping that the actual physical particles like dust and hair or whatever you're cleaning out. But there's also an energetic, what is the word I'm looking for? Part of that, where you can open up kind of like a doorway or whatever to also get rid of that stuff as well. But that, that's coming.
Wonderful. I can't wait for those classes. That excites me because I don't know nothing about Reiki. So I'm excited for all the Reiki classes. And I know Priest Oya Pet too does land healing too with Reiki. And so that's another thing that you can do if you have any semblance of a yard, kind of like I have a back patio and then I have grass in front of my house and behind my patio, but I can't put anything in that grass. But if you have like a family home, or you actually live in a home, even if it's not yours, but you're renting it, but you live in a house, definitely that would be something that if you learn Reiki, land healing would be amazeballs for you to do. Priestess, is there anything that you do that I didn't mention? Maybe, maybe not. Um, Omi Yemi, did you have any questions or are you good? Can you hear me now? Is it better? There we go. Okay. Omi Yemi, do you have anything to add? What did you learn today if you don't have anything to add?
Basically, I can use Yule logs. A lot of stuff that I had questions about, I can use and that I'm gonna incorporate. And a lot of stuff that I've been doing unknowingly have been placed by, my spiritual cord and just been embedded in me. So it's just good to get affirmations about it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Um, Alicia, did you have anything? Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I do. Can you use the cleaning solution and clean your office at work with it?
Oh yeah, definitely. This
Okay.
class was specifically about home, but you can definitely use all these things on like your car, your job, especially if you have like your own like space at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Your whole desk, baby, your whole office. Your whole office. If you can discreetly sprinkle some salt atop of your door at work, baby.
I
And put, like they make selenite wands pretty skinny. Like this one is pretty skinny. This will definitely fit on top of
Over.
a doorway. Yeah. So like even if a little crystal, even like you get a little clear quartz crystal and stick it in
Mhm.
something, baby. All of that. All of that. Certain plants too, or even flowers. Have you ever noticed somebody who always has flowers? Especially what did I say, carnations?
Yes.
If they always have carnations on their desk, that's a form of protection, baby.
Hmm. Hmm.
They may not know it, but it's still a form of protection. It's gonna work. So stuff like
Okay.
that,
Okay.
definitely.
Now, when you I have one more comment. So when you were speaking about the different things, the herbs and whatnot, had this is a thought that came up in my mind. How about, and please don't laugh at me if
I
I'm
won't.
being foolish here. What about in eating your protection every morning? Like
So yes, you can do that. I taught a class. It's in the module. The document I sent you with all the classes. There's
okay,
a class called Made with Love,
okay,
and that whole class is about cooking with intention and how to add intentions to enchant yourself, your family, whoever's eating the food.
okay, got you. Because when you were
So
about cinnamon and other stuff, I was thinking about like growing up when my mother used to make us our hot cereal, our porridge in the morning, and it had all the nutmeg and the cinnamon and this and that in it. And I'm like, well, can you protect yourself on a daily basis
Yeah.
just by ingesting the food?
Yep. Absolutely. That was what that whole class was about. So
Okay.
it is in there. It's
All
on
right.
there. You
Okay.
got it.
All
But
right.
absolutely. For anybody who's watching this and hasn't watched that one yet, go watch that one.
Okay.
Because it talks about that. And then Kingmakers talks about protecting your relationship and enchanting your relationship. And What About the Children talks about protecting children specifically.
Okay.
So
All
they're
right.
just they were just kind of like broken off into separate classes instead of
All
one
right.
big class.
Got you. And will do.
All
I
right.
will definitely watch that. Thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Um, Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for your contributions and questions to the class. Um, Never a dumb question, at least not in my classes, because we don't do that here. I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, thank you all for joining me. Next class will be next Saturday. If you're not watching this live, it'll be in your module at some point. But for those of you who are here right now, next class will be regularly scheduled next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern. And that is the final live class. That is Fantastic Voyage, which talks about on-the-go witching, things to have with you when you're traveling in case you need to do a little protection work, all types of stuff. So that will be the last class of this series, and there'll be a whole new series next year that I have to figure out. So there'll be a whole new bundle. Hey, Siri, be quiet. There'll be nope, not on both phones. So yeah, there'll be a whole new series of classes, whole new bundle talking about different things, and then I'm probably gonna make some other new bundles of existing things just so it's more easily accessible for people. There'll be a new round of shadow work at some point in the new year as well. So prepare for that. The 21-day shadow work mentorship will be back in 2024, especially for those getting their Aleke here at the end of the year. They're going to need some shadow work after that. Yay. Yay. We love shadow work. Ooh, excitement. Everybody here has been in my shadow work thing at least once, except for maybe Omiyemi. I think Omiyemi is the only one that hasn't went through my shadow work boot camp yet, but everybody else has, and it's a doozy. Week 2 always messes people up, and that's fine. It usually takes 25 days instead of 21 because week 2 will jack people up emotionally, and so they usually have to process for a couple days in order to get back on track, and that's fine as long as you finish. That's all that matters. So if you're interested in that, that is coming, and that's all I have. So thank you for joining me, and remember to keep your head so high you don't even see the haters.